Well, first of all, if you could replicate the spot VIX, it would be the holy grail of defensive investing. Unfortunately, that's not possible, especially on the buy side. And given the changing dynamics, it requires a really good understanding of how volatility trades to even come close to it. But that's something that we try and do at our firm. Oh, there are two huge edges that you would have if you could do that. The first one is that from the standpoint of diversification with something like the S&P 500, if you could rebalance between the two, you'd have a massive Sharpe ratio over time, you'd kill most of your drawdowns, and you'd actually outperform dramatically even in absolute return terms. That's point number one. Point number two is that if you could buy the VIX when it has a low handle, again a pipe dream, a handle of 12 or something, you'd have a huge asymmetric payout. Historically, you wouldn't have lost more than 3 points or so, and your upside would be massive. Well, the alternatives that are currently out there are dicey at best. The most common one is buying and rolling the futures. You can either do that directly or using the ETNs, the suite of ETNs that are out there. The trouble is that there's massive carry cost in doing so. Effectively, if nothing happens to the curve, on average, you lose about 5% a month. That's a killer. For the sorts of strategies where you can cut the carry cost down to the bone, which is what we try and do, the best time to buy a strategy like this is when vol is low. Because what you're seeing now is multiple instances of risk jumping from a low base, which would make this a very attractive strategy if you could cut the carry costs. Well, I think they're changing agent dynamics, which is something I'll talk about. Namely, there are a lot more people crowded into the short vol trade. This came to a head in February 2018, but it's showing some signs of reemerging in different areas even now. So there's more pressure on volatility in terms of trying to capture yield in a low interest rate world. It's my first RMC. I'm a fan, so I'm happy to promote the brand. I think what you're doing is very sophisticated, but it's also down to earth. So you're combining cutting edge techniques with a good, solid educational farm. So I'm a fan.